Are you tired of trying new diets and new workout plans and still not seeing results? If so, this episode is going to completely change the game for you. These are 5 non-negotiable habits that every 10WT Elite client must follow. They're realistic while being challenging, but most importantly, they just work. These habits are going to guarantee fat loss because they create the metabolic, behavioral, and performance foundation that you need to succeed. All right, you guys, today I'm really excited to dive into the 5 habits that are going to guarantee fat loss. And the reason why I say guarantee is because I've witnessed it and I've seen it actually happen from my clients. So I started the 10WT Elite, which is basically the 10WT 2.0 or the advanced level of the 10-week transformation. I started it last summer and I've had 1, 2, 3. I think this is the 5th iteration of it thus far. And so I should have known coming into this how many people who have done it up to this point, but it's been at least 30 people who have gone through the 10WT Elite. And just to give you an idea of what it is they have 5 workouts a week, Monday through Friday. They have a meal plan that's provided for them, and there's a scoreboard that dictates for them 5 habits that they must follow every single week for the 10 weeks. Now, I say must follow. A lot of people don't hit every single habit every single week, but everybody hits most habits most weeks. And obviously the more you abide by the habits and the more that you execute on the habits, the more results you're going to see. And so I have seen great results with my 10WT Elite clients. 10WT Elite clients have lost, at minimum, it's just based on their goal, 7 pounds in the 10-week transformation in the 10WT Elite, upwards of 15 to 20 pounds in the 10WT Elite. I also have had some people want to gain weight, and I've had some people gain a lot of muscle during the 10WT Elite. So it's not just for fat loss. That is most people's goals, but it can be for performance, it can be for muscle gain, or what have you. But my point is that these are the 5 habits that are required for them to elevate their metabolism, to provide them with the ability to be consistent and to increase their performance. And so this isn't guesswork. This is a tested strategy that I've used with my clients based on the science that I know and based off of the behavioral tendencies that I know work and will allow people to be consistent. So I'm going to share them with you so that you can start tracking these habits. You can start tracking your results and let me know how it works, because I promise you, if you do these things, it will work. Before I dive in to the 5 habits, on June 5th, we are doing a free workshop that I think will completely change the game with how you view your schedule. I think you're going to look at your calendar a whole lot differently. You're going to see every hour of every day as an opportunity cost as to how am I going to allocate this time across the 6 different areas of my life. It'll allow you to be intentional. It will allow you to take control of your time based off of your priorities and your values. And it's going to make you feel so much less overwhelmed. It's going to organize all the chaos into executable tasks. And we're doing this on Thursday, June 5th at 5 p.m. Central Time. It's called the Build Your Intentional Life Workshop. You can register completely for free at nickcarrier.com/intentional. Again, free workshop Thursday, June 5th, 5 p.m. Central Time, nickcarrier.com/intentional to sign up for free. And I'm going to help you organize your calendar and organize your life in a way that is aligned with your values and your priorities. But for now, let's dive into the 5 fat loss habits. The first one is working out 5 times per week. Now, you don't have to necessarily work out 5 times per week. I would say, generally speaking, most people should be working out 3 to 7 times a week based on their goals. But if you are like, I want to guarantee fat loss, then 5 is a number that is enough to really help you get there. And it's enough to really help get the results that you want to see from a muscular standpoint. So in the 10WT Elite, and I'm going to kind of talk about this through the lens of the 10WT Elite, because that's what I've seen work. That's the strategy that I've seen implemented by a lot of people. And so I'm not just talking based off of what I believe would work. I'm talking about based off of the practical strategies that I've seen work and the evidence that I've seen work. And so these people basically have 4 days of resistance training, a full body, lower body, upper body, and then a personal training day. And then they have 1 cardio day. So for them, it's 4 resistance training, 1 cardio. I would say for most people, if your goal is strictly all about body fat loss and body composition optimization, then we should have minimum 2 resistance training. I would say kind of more ideally more minimum 3 resistance training and a minimum of 1 cardio workout per week. Now, with regards to resistance training, why would I say 3 or 4? It's because to really get the results that you want to see, especially if you're somebody who has worked out with relative consistency over the years, you need to have a certain amount of volume with regards to how many sets you have of certain muscle groups in order to grow muscle or in order to maintain muscle being in a caloric deficit. And so generally speaking, when you're doing resistance training, you want to have about 10 sets or more per muscle group that you're really looking to grow or maintain. And so if you want to really grow your glute muscles, you want to have at least 10 working sets of that muscle. If you want to grow your biceps, you want to have at least 10 working sets of biceps. And so doing just 2 workouts a week makes that pretty difficult. Doing 3 makes it more doable. Doing 4 really makes it doable. And then as far as cardio goes, if your goal is purely about fat loss, I would really prioritize lower intensity cardio for 80 to 90% of your work. I would say 1, because lower intensity cardio targets fat burning. I would say 2, because when you're in a caloric deficit, when you're eating less than you're actually burning on a daily basis, over time, that can leave you being in a little bit less energetic and less motivated. And going out on a lower intensity jog or a lower intensity walk is a lot easier to do and a lot less intimidating than a high intensity day. And so especially if your goal is to optimize for fat loss, I would say 80 to 90% low intensity and maybe 10 to 20% of higher intensity intervals. So that combination, that balance, while being in a caloric deficit really helps to speed up fat loss because of really prioritizing for muscle, the amount of workouts that you're doing, and a little bit of cardio sprinkled in as well. So the first habit to guarantee fat loss is working out about 5 times per week. Second habit is eating 18 of 21 meals from the meal plan. Again, I'm talking about the concept of these 5 habits through the lens of the 10WT Elite. And so in the 10WT Elite, everybody is provided by me, their nutrition coach, a specific meal plan that is tailor-made basically based off of 2 things. 1, their caloric and macro needs, and 2, based off of their food preferences. So let's start off with that first one, their calorie and macro needs. Everybody who joins the 10WT Elite, I calculate their estimated total daily energy expenditure. I estimate the total number of calories that they burn on a daily basis. And let's say somebody might burn at about 2,000 calories per day. I then know, okay, in order for this person to reliably see body fat loss, we want to be in a daily caloric deficit of about 200 to 600 calories per day. And so, okay, if they burn 2,000, let's just take 300 as the number of caloric deficit. So in between 200 and 600, I'm going to go with 300. Then I would program their meal plan for about 1,700 calories on average per day. And then I would calculate their macronutrients, their protein, their carbs, and fats based off of that 1,700. And if they abide by that for 18 out of 21 meals, the likelihood that they hit their weekly caloric deficit that's necessary for fat loss is super, super high. So 18 out of 21 meals from the meal plan is the goal for everybody in the 10WT Elite. That doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to eat that many meals from the meals that I give you. If you're going out to eat, then you can eat a healthy meal when you're going out, and that can count as one of the 18, let's say. So for those of you guys listening, if you don't have a meal plan, if you just simply track, can I eat 18 out of 21 meals each week as healthy meals? And you just kind of define healthy as however you want to define it. Obviously, you got to be honest with yourself. Then I guarantee you, if you hit that 18 regularly, consistently, or even 16, 17, 18 consistently and regularly, habitually, week after week after week, you're going to see some progress with your goals. And so the first part of the meal plan is based off of their caloric and macro needs, because that's the science, that's the physiology. The second part is based off of their food preferences. So I ask them, what are your favorite proteins? What are your favorite carbs? What are your favorite fats? What do you typically eat for lunch, breakfast, and dinner? How much do you like to cook? Are you a meal prepper? Are you somebody who cooks each day? What does that look like? And then I base their meal plan and the foods in it and the frequency of meals based off of that. I also base off of, like, are you the type of person who likes to eat the same meal every single day? Some people say yes, some people say sometimes, some people say no. If you're a no person, I got to give you a lot more different recipes. If you're a yes person, I might be able to give you one lunch recipe for the entire week. And so that provides the ability to be consistent. That lends itself to a high level of execution, because then you want to eat the foods that you're having and you're not having to twist your own arm to eat these foods because you actually like it. So 18 out of 21 meals from the meal plan or as healthy meals can guarantee that you're going to see fat loss. So those are the first two. Number 3, the third habit that is required for all these people is to get 10,000 steps every single day. When we think about why is that, we got to think about energy expenditure side of the lever. So when it comes to body fat loss, we think about energy in, energy out, calories in, calories out. The calories out side of the equation is broken up into your basal metabolic rate, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is your NEAT, your exercise, and then your thermic effective food. The NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is what we're talking about here. This is just the amount of calories that you burn just from your daily activity. So I'm sitting here and I always use the example of I'm talking with my own hands. When you walk to and from the grocery store, when you walk up and down your stairs, all of that regular activity you do on a daily basis is considered your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And that plays a massive role, a larger role than most people believe, into the number of calories that you burn on a daily basis. And so many of the people that I coach are sedentary individuals, or pretty sedentary individuals. So I would say a lot of people who are beginning the 10WT Elite on average probably already get somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 steps a day. But often they're right in between that 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 range. And so getting an extra 30-minute walk every single day is what gets them to at that minimum of 10K steps a day. So that's huge with regards to the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that compounds daily. I mean, not even to mention the other benefits of going on walks like vitamin D, increase a better mood, increase in energy, and so many other things, right? And the other thing is, when you're trying to get to 10,000 steps a day, think about how you can seamlessly implement it into your lifestyle. That's something that you always do. I usually like to tell people, can you do morning walks or evening walks? Can you do before or after meal walks? Can you walk during phone calls? Can you walk during meetings for your work if you work at home? Find ways to associate certain activities with walking, because in order to make it habitual, we need a trigger. We need something that when we do it, it's like, oh yeah, it's time to go walk. I just got home before lunch. Oh yeah, it's time to go walk. I just ate dinner. Oh yeah, it's time to go walk. If we can associate an activity that we already do with walking, then it becomes that much more easy to remember to do it and stay consistent with it. So tracking your steps is huge, as well as in creating kind of micro wins and building momentum on your journey. So that's the third. Again, we're going through 5 steps to guarantee fat loss. We've gone through the first 3. Number 4 is sleep 7+ hours at least 6 nights a week. Now look, if we're talking like optimal, ideally, we want to get 8 hours every night a week. But I know for me personally, that's unrealistic. I know for a lot of the people that I coach, that's unrealistic. Whether you are struggling to go to bed on time because you're trying to get your kids to bed, whether you work late, whether you're somebody that goes out to dinner, or you have events a lot throughout the week, like hitting it all 7 nights a week is pretty difficult. And asking for 8 hours every single night is pretty difficult. But getting 7+ is still really good from a sleep perspective and the benefits of sleep. And from a metabolic standpoint, our body senses a lack of sleep as a physiological stress. And any sort of physiological stress that we are incurring outside of like exercise, let's say our body is like, oh my gosh, I am sensing some stress. I need to hold on to the energy so I'm not going to burn as many calories. And so you are retaining more of the calories and your metabolism is slower because you're not burning as much when your body senses stress. It's the same thing with if you actually have psychological stress. And so lack of sleep provides, leads to some fat retention. And also it's just poor recovery. And so you're not going to be as energetic and motivated to do the things that you need to do. And it's going to affect your willpower. It's going to increase your cravings. It literally increases your hunger hormones and causes you to overeat. And so there's all these reasons metabolically and psychologically why poor sleep is harmful to your weight loss goals and good sleep is helpful to your weight loss goals. So those are the first 4. And we're getting ready to get into the 5th one. And I think the 5th one is going to apply to 80, 90, 95% of you guys. But before we do, I just would really encourage you that if you're somebody who feels like you're always reacting to life and life is happening to you and you're not doing a great job of proactively planning out your life and taking charge of your goals and taking charge of your time, and you're always falling subject to other people's priorities, then you need to join the Build Your Intentional Life workshop on Thursday, June 5th at 5 p.m. Central Time. You can register completely for free at nickcarrier.com/intentional. I get so excited about these workshops to see people face to face because that fuels me, that energizes me selfishly, but then also to open their minds to different ways and better ways to utilize their most precious asset, which is their time. Excuse me. Hopefully we can edit that out. So if you're interested in joining the Build Your Intentional Life workshop, you can sign up for free by going to nickcarrier.com/intentional to save your seat June 5th at 5 p.m. Central Time. Now, the fifth and final habit that will help you to guarantee fat loss is to drink 3 or fewer alcoholic beverages per week. That is the number that I always recommend to 10WT Elite clients. Now, anytime I talk about the topic of alcohol, it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Everybody, and I'm very sensitive to this topic, everybody has a very different relationship with alcohol. And if you're somebody who really struggles with that, I am not your person. You need to seek professional help, and I would recommend you seek professional help. But from my experience with most of the clients that I work with are people who drink. They drink more socially than anything else, so they don't have an alcoholic issue. But most of them do drink socially. And I would say that most of the people that I coach drink somewhere between 3 to 15 drinks per week. And again, I'm not judging anybody here. I personally probably drink on average anywhere between 3 to 12 drinks per week, depending on the week. Is alcohol a health food? Absolutely not. Not promoting alcohol whatsoever. I'm not saying you need to drink 1, 2, or 3 drinks each week in order to see fat loss. That is for darn sure. But alcohol is a true inhibitor of progress with your fat loss goals. It's empty calories. It doesn't have really nutrients. It leads to other future poor food decisions. We all know that if we drink too much, we want to eat more, and that leads to poor food decisions because it's not like when we drink, we want the healthiest of foods. And it also will slow down our recovery from a fitness standpoint. So I would encourage you that if 3 or less is not the appropriate goal for you, and when I say appropriate, it's supposed to be challenging but realistic. If that's not the appropriate goal for you, I would say to choose 3 less drinks per week than you currently drink. Meaning, if you currently have about 10 drinks per week, have the goal of consuming 7 or less per week moving forward, and allow that to be your starting point with your fat loss goals. I'm just telling you what the 10WT Elite standard looks like when I'm going through these numbers. So those are the 5 habits. They are foundational. They're not easy, but they're effective. And if you're serious about them and you implement this blueprint, results will follow. Work out 5 times a week. Eat 18 out of 21 meals from your meal plan or as healthy meals. Walk 10,000 steps every single day. Sleep at least 7 hours, at least 6 nights a week, and drink 3 or less alcoholic beverages per week. But again, customize that based off of where you currently are in your relationship with alcohol. Look, I know a lot of people out there have 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds to lose. That's what I experience as the most common person who is doing the 10-week transformation or listening to this podcast, somewhere between 5 and 20 pounds to lose. And these are the type of habits that have proven time and time again. And when I say proven, I see it every single day, every single week, every single 10WT, that when these things get executed upon, results follow. The last thing that I want to say about this is, remember, why you are on a health journey or why you're doing these habits is not just about weight loss. It's easy to think it might just be about weight loss, but it's also forming the type of identity of somebody who prioritizes their health, who values their health, showing yourself that you're the type of person who follows through with the promises that you make to yourself. You tell yourself to walk 10,000 steps a day, every single day, and you do it. You tell yourself to drink less alcohol, and you do it. And when you can begin to form that identity with yourself of, I can tell myself to do something and then I do it, then I'm a person of integrity. I'm a person of alignment. I'm somebody who is whole, who is one with my word. And that builds your confidence, which leads to results in your health and fitness, which leads to results in all areas of your life. Because if you become the type of person who follows through with the promises that you make to yourself, you become somebody who can rely on yourself and trust yourself, and that bleeds into all areas of your life. I hope you guys enjoyed these things. I hope you can work on implementing these strategies. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify, make sure you click follow so you get the future episodes and you get notifications of it. I'm going to continue to bring the heat and bring practical strategies that will work. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit like and subscribe down below. Share it with a friend or family member that you think will work best for you. Come to the Build Your Intentional Life workshop by going to nickcarrier.com/intentional. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope it was valuable. I hope it helps you get closer to the healthiest version of yourself. And ultimately, I hope it helps you get closer and closer to your best you.